The best lawyers aren't found in the big law firms. They're found in the stories of those who left. Chapter 10. The Lawsuit Bluff. The phone buzzed on my desk, the name Daniel Richard flashing across the screen. A man I swore my admission alongside. A friend I'd worked side by side with for years, now still trapped in the firm I'd left behind. The second his name flashed on my screen, something twisted in my chest. I hadn't heard from him since the day I walked out of that boardroom. I hesitated, then answered. Daniel? His voice was lower than usual, almost cautious. Mate. Then a pause, as if he felt the need for some polite small talk. How's the independent life treating you? The tension slowly climbed from my chest to my throat. Good. Busy. What's up? Silence, then the real reason for the call. Mitchum is losing his shit. My stomach clenched as his voice lowered even further. Jason, what the hell did you do? What are you talking about? My words came sounding more anxiety-stricken than I intended. Daniel continued. Mitchum just stormed out of the boardroom. He's furious and told everyone that if another client follows you, he'll sue you into the ground. My throat dried up. A lawsuit, the one thing every lawyer fears when leaving a firm. I stood up, walking towards the living room, wanting to feel a sense of security by having Courtney nearby. What do you mean? I said. Daniel continued as if reading a script. I mean, he pulled the entire department into a meeting today and went off. He said, and I quote, if Carter thinks he can walk out of here and steal my clients, I'll bury him in lawsuits till he's begging to come back. My fingers curled into a fist at my side, a reflex I barely noticed but must have caught the attention of Courtney, who was lounging on the couch flipping through a magazine. It was at this moment she looked up, sensing the tension in my face. I couldn't bring myself to make eye contact with her. I was trying to process what this actually meant. I'd risked our security all because I couldn't just suck it up at work. I'd inevitably win the bogus case if Mitchum actually followed through, but likely lose my clients, be unable to pay the mortgage, and lose Courtney and the kids. All of this flashed through my head in a matter of moments before I finally looked up and saw the determined look in Courtney's face. Clearly she had overheard just enough, and in a single glance, I felt my spine strengthen a little, at least enough not to show my fear to Daniel. His voice lifted slightly, as if trying to show I could trust him. Look, I know you wouldn't be dumb enough to poach clients, but 2 have left in the last month. Apparently, they requested you specifically. My grip on the phone tightened. I hadn't taken any work from my old firm. I'd made a point of it, and yet clients were leaving anyway. Daniel continued, pleading as though his only intention was to help. He's serious, man. He wants to take you to court. I kept my grip on the phone and my words tighter still. Appreciate the heads up. Daniel's tone changed to a more robotic level. If it were me, I'd just come back. You can't win against these guys. They have a firm of lawyers at their disposal and all the money in the world. I guess we'll see. I made sure my voice was steady, even while my heart tried to punch through my ribs. Daniel's volume returned to normal, best friend mode. I think he'd still take you back, man. Just give him a call and explain you were being pressured by the missus to spend more time at home, and you didn't mean any of it. My jaw tightened. He really thought I would throw my wife under the bus that easy? As I took a breath to prevent myself from getting too angry, I realized there was a weird hesitation in his voice, and I heard a faint muffled voice in the background and a deliberate tapping. It was such a familiar noise because I'd made a similar call only a year ago when a senior associate had left and Mitchum had demanded I call them in front of him so he could hear how they reacted to being threatened. Mitchum furiously tapped on a scribbled note, which was giving me the script he wanted me to say to the escapee. Even though my hands were still trembling a little, I made a conscious effort to take another deep breath and respond as casually as possible. Thanks for the heads up, but I haven't poached any clients. I've been flat out with new work, so I think I'll keep at it for a while longer. Daniel pleaded, clearly sucking up to the king sitting across from him. All right, man. I think you should seriously think about it, though. There's a reason Mitchum has been top dog for so long. He's not someone you want to have as an enemy. I was done with this conversation. Thanks, mate. See ya. Still rattled, I set my phone down, staring at it. By now, Courtney had made her way to the kitchen and casually turned on the kettle as if nothing was amiss. What was that about? I let out a breath. Mitchum's threatening to sue. She approached slowly and asked with a scoff, for what? Her laid-back attitude was lowering my heart rate, but I sensed maybe she didn't realize what this could mean. Expecting her to flinch in the same way I had, I blurted out, "Poaching clients?" Courtney was still calm as anything. "Have you taken any former clients? I shook my head. "No. 2 have reached out, but I turned them down." Courtney tapped her fingers lightly against the kitchen counter, the rhythm matching her amusement. "And they still left the firm?" I was stunned at how relaxed she was at this news. "Apparently." A soft huff of amusement escaped her, barely breaking her composure. "So let me get this straight. The clients found you on their own, you didn't take their work, and Mitchum is blaming you for their decision to leave." I steadied my breathing, holding the frustration back. "Yep." She rolled her eyes. "Classic ego move. He's not actually mad at you. He's mad that these clients are realizing they don't need him." I ran a hand through my hair, still on edge from the call. Even if I didn't take the work, he could still make our life hell. Courtney tilted her head and put her hand on mine to steady me. "You didn't solicit or encourage clients to leave, right?" "No." I rasped the word out, my nerves fraying. Courtney's voice sharpened slightly, cutting through my panic. "You haven't even signed any old clients yet, have you?" I kept shaking my head, like the motion alone could make it more true. "No." She spread her hands. "Then what's the problem?" I swallowed hard, spitting the words out like they burned on my tongue. "The problem is Mitchum is a litigious asshole with a chip on his shoulder." Courtney leaned forward, as if ready to share a secret. "Okay, then let's play this smart. What do you do the next time a former client reaches out?" I hesitated. "Turn them down?" She pinched the bridge of her nose, muttering my name like a lost cause. "Jason." My brows knitted together as I stared at her, my frustration surfacing as I released a one-word response. "What?" Courtney had a calm tone that both infuriated me but dared me to argue. "Let's think logically. The next time a former client asks for you, they're already leaving the firm. You're not stealing them. They've already made their choice." I sat down at the dining table to steady myself. "Okay." Her voice had a knowing grin she only used when we were plotting together as she grabbed a cup from the cupboard, preparing for her 10th tea of the day. "So why not give the firm one last chance to keep them?" I narrowed my eyes. "You mean..." Courtney looked like a cartoon Cheshire cat, her whole face bright with barely contained triumph as she delivered the idea. "Give them 48 hours to secure their client." A slow, undeniable wave of excitement pulled at my features as the idea took hold. All frustration had been replaced with pure pride. "Oh, that's diabolical." She shrugged like it was nothing, dropping the tea bag and pouring the kettle as she continued, the sarcasm in her tone palpable. "Mitchum can't claim you're poaching if you give them a formal heads up that their client is about to leave. You're just giving a courtesy heads up before helping a client who needed legal advice. You have a responsibility to the community as a lawyer, remember?" I rocked forward, already drafting the email in my head and imagining what a judge would say if he actually ever tried to make a claim against me. Flashing back to the thoughts that ran through my mind during the call with Daniel, I felt compelled to double check. "So you're not worried about the mortgage or the cars possibly being repossessed?" As she raised her tea and gave a wink as she spoke. "We love camping anyway." And with that remark, the tension vanished. I closed the gap between us, giving her a well-deserved kiss and sneakily reaching for the whiteboard and marker from the fridge at the same time. "I've got to write all this down. Thanks, babe." The plan, the 48-hour rot clause rule. When a former client reaches out, politely acknowledge the inquiry. Ask why they're leaving the firm. Before accepting the work, notify the firm. "So-and-so client has approached me for legal services. As a courtesy, I'm providing you 48 hours to secure them as a client before I move forward." Wait for the response. The firm has 2 choices. Try to retain the client, which they probably won't, or ignore it, which means the client is free to choose. Proceed with a clear conscience. Just pure strategic checkmate. 2 days later, the opportunity came knocking to put the idea to the test. A former client and serial entrepreneur I had nicknamed Elon, actual name Randall Marin, who always seemed to have 5 ventures running at once. I'd worked with him for years, and he was always in a rush. "Jason," his voice came rushing out as I answered the call, "I need you to look over a new shareholder agreement for me. I told the firm I wanted you, but they were vague about whether they could involve you. I don't have time for games, so I Googled your name, found your details on LinkedIn. Can we set something up?" I forced the nerves down and leaned on the plan Courtney and I had made. "Elon, it's nice to hear from you, and I'll be happy to help, but out of professional courtesy, I'll give the firm 48 hours to lock you in first." A rough-edged laugh slipped through the line, filled with the kind of certainty that needed no second opinion. They've had months to keep me. I'm calling you because I'm done with them, he said. Unsure how he might respond or if the threat of litigation might deter him from using me or my old firm and just go find someone entirely new to avoid the mess, I risked holding firm. Thanks, but if it's all the same, I'd like to cover my ass in case Mitchum gets a little quick to try and sue. If I provide written notice, it means I'd be covered. The amusement in his tone filled me with relief. Ideas like that are why I want you and not the bloody firm. I jumped in, wanting to give credit where it was due. Actually, this was my wife's idea. His voice shook lightly with laughter, the kind that told me he wasn't surprised. I knew there had to be someone extra working behind the scenes to make you seem so smart. Remembering what made him such a good client, I enjoyed leaning into the joke. Fortunately for me, she hasn't reported me to Fair Work for being paid in tea and biscuits yet. Elon let out a low, amused breath. Can't wait to be working with you again. I followed the plan. I drafted the email to Mitchum's office. Subject, courtesy notice, client inquiry. Dear Mitchum, Randall Marin has reached out requesting legal services. As a professional courtesy, I'm providing the firm 48 hours to confirm whether you will be handling his matter. If I do not receive a response within that time, I will proceed with representation of the client. Regards, Jason Carter. Then I hit send. Courtney leaned over my shoulder reading it. Her smirk in the screen reflection was practically villainous. Oh, this is going to drive him insane. I turned to give her a kiss. All in a day's work, I said. It was Wednesday at 9:34 a.m. when I sent the email, and over the next couple of days, every refresh of my inbox came with a wave of anxiety, followed by relief, as I realised the sender was neither Mitchum nor the firm. At exactly 9:35 a.m. on the Friday, I sent Elon a cost agreement. He replied in less than a minute, which was simply a screenshot of a bank transfer confirmation and a short message. Jason, appreciate the professionalism. Nice to be working with you again. Courtney read the message over my shoulder and clinked her mug against mine. Her voice twinkled as bright as her eyes. To outsmarting pigs. To let the moment stretch for a second longer, savouring it before taking a sip. I let the moment stretch for a second longer, savouring it before taking a sip. That felt pretty good, I said. There was the slightest hint of anticipation in Courtney's voice when she asked the next question. Do you want to get the kids from school today? They keep talking about car karaoke, and Ollie said next time he gets to pick the song. Summoning my best Napoleon Dynamite impression. Heck yes, I do. Courtney was beaming with pride and excitement. Perfect. I need to hit the dry cleaners and swing by Spotlight before the end of the financial year sale today. Basking in the glory of being a super lawyer, super husband, and super dad all in one moment. I've got this, babe, I said. End of chapter, by the way. But the 48-hour rock clause is not legal advice. Please seek legal advice if you have a restraint of trade in your contract.